everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a little bit of a rambly video. I've got two things to talk about. Number one, bullet journaling, and number two, this pen. But as you've seen from the title, the main kind of thrust of this video is bullet journaling and why it's no longer working for me. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you probably will have seen my One Book July videos from last year. For those that are new or didn't catch those videos, basically this time last year I was gearing up to do One Book July. I was getting a bit lost with my planning, and so I really wanted to simplify things and kind of figure out what really truly worked for me. And so I picked up a pocket ledger term and set this up as my everything planner. So absolutely everything that was previously spread across several planners all went into here. Everything from kind of habit tracking, I use this as my purse as well, so that's what this is in here for. Habit tracking, all of my future plans, and then kind of weekly pages and daily pages and kind of collections, everything went in here, and I absolutely loved it. And I pretty much stuck in this until September really, and then it was full, and by that point I was kind of itching to get back into more, I guess, full planning, because although that was great, I definitely felt that it wasn't perfect for me long term, and just from the perspective of I need a bit more space, I need a bit more pages, I need to be able to do kind of bigger, I guess, long form planning in terms of goal planning and just, you know, things for the shop and for YouTube. This was great for like a short-term experiment and really helped me learn a lot around kind of planning and what works for me and what doesn't. But long term, I knew I couldn't do everything in this as much as I wanted to. So what I did is I effectively split my planning again and kept a pocket bullet journal for my everyday carry. And the goal of this was to basically just have something on me at all times that had my plans, any notes and things. It's also my purse. And so basically taking the bits from here that I primarily used when I was out and about and just keeping it in here. And that's how I've been using it for, I mean, pretty much the bulk of this year. There's been some dalliances back into kind of Passport TN and things like that, but this I pretty much set up. I can't remember, there'll be a video on it, but I've been in this for, probably a few months now. And I've just come to the realization that it's not right for me, it's not working, and I figured I would do just a little video kind of talking about why, and then also talk about my most recent addition, which is this Bastion pen. As you can see, it is super tiny, super lovely looking, very kind of sleek design, and this definitely probably came in a bit too late for it to kind of save my setup, because the pen situation has definitely added to this whole thing not working. But enough of me kind of rambling and you just looking at the cover. Let's dig into the planner and kind of go through why it's not working for me anymore. Okay, so to kick off, this is, as I said, the pocket ledger term. It is a slim A6 size, so very good for dropping into most handbags and things like that. It's basically only if I'm on a night out that I don't take it, because I don't need this on a night out. I just have a little card purse, and so this comes with me everywhere. Opening it up, so this is the section where I keep my bank card and my driving license. I generally don't tend to carry much more than that, but the back pocket is helpful for anything else. So any kind of receipts or loyalty cards, things like that, can live in there, and that's fine. I don't need a huge amount of more space. This is just a little bit of decoration. These are all things from the shop. I do like to have a little pretty on my cover page, but generally this is kept very plain, not much decoration, not much stickers. This is all about being functional. The main kind of, I guess, reason for this planner is forward planning. So this is a setup that I have tweaked from this, where basically I just use these blank months from the shop and these little titles of month stickers, stick this in here, use a what are these called, zig clean colour dots for kind of marking out which days I have plans, and then I just literally write them out here. I just need something when I'm out and about. I'm not a digital planner, I don't really put things in my phone, and I don't like putting things in my phone. I like to have something on paper with me. And so this this basically just has all of my future plans in here. So if I'm out, if I'm at work or anything like that, I know exactly what I'm doing and when. So if I need to book an appointment or something like that, I can do it instantly, no faffing about. Between that and the purse aspect, those are the main two things that I need out of this planner, really. And that's kind of the crux of why this isn't working for me, because those are the two main bits. Everything else feels unnecessary and almost, I mean, I say unnecessary, I haven't really used it, and I think that's my big problem with it. So I've been set up in this since March, so I tried to keep some of the elements from last year's that worked really well and kept in my habit tracker. So this is the habit tracking notepad from the shop, and I just had to cut it down to fit into this page because this is an A6 notepad, but this actual Let's term is, like I say, A6 slim. I liked having my habits all in one place, so I literally just had somewhere to look at the end of every day and update it. And then I kind of had lists around, so kind of to buy lists, to shopping to buy, and kind of an inbox kind of to-do list thing. And that was kind of it in terms of things that were set up kind of almost as permanent collections, I guess. And as you can see, I started off well with it, but because this lived in my bag, I then found that I wasn't getting it out of my bag, because when I'm at home, if this is the only thing that I really need it for, and maybe these, I then wasn't necessarily getting it out every day because I didn't need it, and therefore wasn't keeping up to it, because this wasn't enough to kind of make me remember to have it out. I'm not sure if that is fully making sense, but effectively it wasn't used enough when I'm at home on my desk for me to then kind of go out of my way to take it out of my bag, because like my work bag, for example, it just kind of lives by the door and I don't take things out of it unless it's my working from home days, and then everything does come out. So for me to remember to take it out, I needed a bit more than just these to kind of make me want to, or make me remember. Maybe it was just that it wasn't enough of a habit, but I just found that this was the first one to go. The habit tracker, I tailed off on this pretty, as you can see, kind of by the 25th of the month it was done. This probably kept alive for a little bit longer. I do like having a, I guess, kind of set place for these, and it was handy having it in a place where I could just add to it as I was out and about, because that's the big thing, is I'll remember that I need to buy something, and if I don't capture it at the moment in time, I never capture it. So having these in my EDC, in theory, should work out quite well. And then I did kind of try, and it definitely started off well in March, but then it kind of tailed off very quickly. So how I tried to kind of use this was very similar to how I'd used this, where I was using it kind of in the proper bullet journal way. So I didn't set up dailies, I set up weeklies, and just had this as a bit of a running thing. And a lot of what I used this for was just things, like I said just then, things that popped into my head that I knew I needed to do, and I needed to remember to do when I got home, or needed to remember to kind of add it into my main planner when I got home. Or I would use it for things that I needed to do when I was out at work. But as you can see, it didn't get used a huge amount. I then added in kind of a few extra kind of collections of things that just kind of occurred to me that didn't really feel like they needed a full page in my cousin. So if you haven't seen my cousin setup, I do use that for the bulk of my collections. But with the size of the page, you know, a to sell list or a planner update schedule, it didn't need the A5 size. So actually it was nice in terms of having a smaller page to write things down on. But then I just didn't go back and refer to it, and that was my big issue. It was I might have a great idea and write out you know, some notes while I was out and about, or maybe even at home, but then in terms of the long term referring back to it, didn't really happen. Tried again kind of later on in March. Using it as a bit of a packing list was handy. Other kind of notes and bits and pieces, did some expense tracking, and then it just literally, yeah, by April I had stopped using it. So I had marked up pages for kind of my next kind of weekly pages or whatever, and I just realised that even in these weeks I wasn't, like, I'd have spurts of it. So there might be a week where I would kind of set this up on a Sunday night because I didn't have a chance maybe to set up my weeks because I was prepping to move in April, and so life was getting a bit busy. So having somewhere I could just literally kind of make a quick list was very nice. I enjoyed having that, but going back to it and using it, it was, yeah, it just didn't feel as good as when I had that. And I think this has just made me realise that I'm an all or nothing person. I do need to have at least the bulk of my planning in something in order for me to really want to use it. So having it for, you know, my future plans and as a purse is great, but then I end up kind of trying to fill these pages and then not really using them, and then feeling a little bit like it's a waste of paper. And then I just kind of get a bit irritated that I'm carrying this notebook that I'm not really using. And that's kind of where I'm up to now. I then had some, I guess, not issues, but I couldn't really find for the longest time a pen that really worked. So I made this for my last one, because this obviously doesn't come with a pen loop, and so this is basically just a page marker that has the Let's Turn pen loop. So this helped me carry a pen because I didn't want to have kind of a separate pencil case. I've tried that before. I just needed everything all in one place to make me use it. So I had this set up, and certainly when I was using this, I did try a few different pens. So one thing that I bought when I bought this is the Calico DIY Sport. Beautiful colour, matches nicely, but then kind of I didn't necessarily want to throw this in all my bags because fountain pens can sometimes leak and can be a bit messy. Not that I've had an issue with this, but I just didn't feel comfortable throwing a fountain pen in my bag. I never really have. I have then had the Pilot G2, which nice gel pen, good size. So obviously I wanted small pens for this setup. I didn't want a pen bigger. This is nice enough, but I'm definitely not in a gel pen kind of place at the moment, so that didn't really last very long. It also, I don't know, I don't know whether I just got roasted into glasses with the G2, but I don't remember them skipping as much as my most recent ones have. I don't know whether it's a quality thing or what, but these have just felt like a bit more trouble than they're worth. Another thing about kind of my planning is I do like to colour code things, and obviously all of those things were just the same colour. So then I experimented with my Uni Jetstream. I absolutely love this pen. It's got 4 colours plus a pencil and an eraser on the end, so I will always recommend this all day long, but it ends up bigger than the notebook. It doesn't go in the pen loop, so then you have to put it like that, and then you have to kind of faff about doing this little trick to keep it on there, and yeah, no, not great, not fun. So my most recent pen has been this, which I mentioned at the start of the video. So Bastion reached out to me to see if I'd like to try one of their pens and offer me a what's it called, affiliate code with like a voucher code, which I'll drop all the details. And it was kind of in the midst of me trying to find a pen that worked, and I thought actually the mini one should tick a lot of the boxes in terms of, because it's rollable rather than a gel pen, so can kind of remove the issues there. It's obviously not a fountain pen, so it can kind of remove those issues. It's got a very nice mechanism. It fits in the pen loop, and yeah, aside from the fact that it is just one colour, which then does take me back to my whole issue around not being able to colour code, from the perspective of just getting something that I can just quickly write notes and it's not going to kind of get messy, it's not going to run, it's not going to smudge like the gel or the fountain pen would. This has been really nice. The only thing I would kind of say with this is it claims that it's a 0.5 kind of width nib, and they call it a fine point. I think it's more like 0.7. And so although the size of the pen physically worked really well, I found that for this bullet journal and for the size of the pages, I wasn't a huge fan of it. So this is a pen test. So this is versus the Uni Jetstream, which is this one in a 0.5, and then this is what they say is a fine point at 0.5, it's definitely a lot thicker, kind of double the width. And you can't actually get different sized refills for it, unfortunately, and obviously because of the size of it, it is a proprietary one. Don't know whether I might be able to like buy a Jetstream and cut it down and see what happens. Maybe that's something to experiment with. But when it was kind of, it came during my whole kind of back and forth with this, and it definitely helped keep this alive for a little bit longer because it is a very nice pen, and like I say, it fits very nicely in here. But it was, it just, when you know that a planner setup isn't working. I've been trying since March. I had a good start, but all of it came together around I just wasn't using it enough. I didn't have enough to kind of bring me back into using it because I was only using it for a small amount of planning. Plus it didn't have the kind of right pen setup. Although this improved things a lot, it still wasn't 100% because it was still just one colour, and I'm all about the colour coding. And yeah, that's kind of what's brought me here today. So I'm kind of back to the drawing board. I am still using this at the moment as just kind of my future log and my purse, but I am on the lookout for what the main alternative will be. And I am kind of thinking, because I have been planning in my weeks, so if you saw my video, my first video back, you will see that I'm finally using my weeks for the first time I have been using it all year, but I kind of set this up as a health and fitness planner and it hasn't really jived. But then with the move and everything, I did go back into this and it has worked out perfectly. It's just been brilliant and kept me very organised since the move. And to be honest, using this less has kind of coincided with using this again. So I do wonder if there's a bit around, could I move this back into being my EDC and kind of put everything that was in here, because obviously there's the cover, which does lend itself to keeping bank cards and things, and there's enough space for kind of vouchers, and so I could do everything that I did do in here. And actually probably 3-4 years ago I did use this as my EDC, and the only reason why I started downsizing is because I did have quite a few handbags where the weeks just wouldn't fit. I am kind of moving back into bigger handbag territory, so maybe it's a good time to try. We'll see, that's current thoughts. But that's where we are with the bullet journal. It's not working, it needs to change. I need to work out what I'm doing with it. But the pen, lovely. I would say it's, like I say, a bit thicker on the nib than I would normally go for planning, but as a general kind of ballpoint pen, this is very nice and will probably go in my work bag for kind of quick notes and quick scribbles for when I want a nice kind of rollable pen. The only thing really is, because it's so smooth and it doesn't have the grip, I do find that sometimes I struggle to kind of get comfortable with it because it is quite a slippy pen to hold. And if you look at what I'm used to using, things like the Jetstream and the G2, this less so, but then it's not quite as the texture is very different. But I do find sometimes that getting a comfortable hold on this with something that's not got any grip to it and is quite slippy can be a bit tricky. But that's it on the pen. Just a few bits of info, and it fits very nicely in the pen loop. I'm glad I got to try it because it did definitely eke out using this for a little bit longer, because I was in a bit of a stalemate with what I was gonna use to write in it. And it's, while I figure out what the replacement is, it's still in there and I'm still using it. And that's it for my rambles on the bullet journal and the pen. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please leave me some comments below on your thoughts. Have you kind of gone through a similar thing? Have you got any ideas around what I could use, or even any ideas around kind of how I could potentially bring back some of the old magic of this? Don't say do one book July in this again, because I've been there, done that, and although I enjoyed it, I know that it's not long term for me. But yeah, this has been the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one and I haven't put you off with my ramblings. Bye.